All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the AI Executive Morning Buzz. It is good to be back. 2 days without Morning Buzz, Jason. I don't know what I was going to do. This is your go to live broadcast for real AI insights, industry trends, and executive level analysis. And as we always promise, without the hype, I'm your host, Albert Ramos, and I'm here with my co host and VCAIO, Jason Hess. Let's jump right in. So here's
Morning,
what you
Albert. How you been?
good morning.
Did you do anything fun while you?
So much fun, so much fun. I missed the morning buzz. I'll just say that there's a lot going on as we're going to see today. We have quite a few things. Like we're going to be chatting about what Deloitte just came out with and their specific new roadmap. I'm curious to hear what you think about it, Jason, when it comes to how does it compare to our AI AMF? We have an amazing roadmap out there, and now Deloitte's rolling one out, and I'm excited about it. So why don't we start there? How's it going there?
No, it's great. So Deloitte just recently released their AI governance documentation, and so one of the first things I did is something is not commonly done with LLMs. Is something I teach people is you can compare two documents and be able to get an output. So I evaluated the Deloitte AI governance with our sorry, little tongue twister this morning, but the AI AMF, and got the what were similarities, what were differences, and truthfully, there was a lot of similarities of what we designed with the AI AMF as well as what Deloitte is recommending. I think the biggest difference was the scope and audience. Deloitte
Right,
really focused, because of their global reach, they focused a lot more on how their roadmap helps senior leaders that are managing global companies and things like that. And I think that's a fair difference. I don't think we spent as much about that because we're focused a little bit more on US based companies. But the
right.
implementation focus
Yeah,
was very similar. It did call out that ours was much more focused on the entire life cycle, and I'm sure Deloitte is working on that. This is just one snippet in one white paper of what they're doing or recommending for AI governance. I'm sure they have recommendations for the other 5 phases of what we've defined in our AI AMF.
yeah, I'm with you. I noticed the same thing. What I really appreciated about their framework that was very similar to ours too was again the focus on governance, right? The focus on risk mitigation and loss prevention. I think that's important. And to your point, when they're sharing this with their audience, which is your C-suite executive leader, that's what the chatter is, right? I think there's a gap between adoption or even the commitment to AI because of the fear of that risk side, the security side. So I think both the AI AMF that we've released as well as Deloitte's really showcases how important that is. I would have loved to see a little bit more specific to targeting, a different audience as well, right? I think we have a lot of small businesses out there, medium-sized businesses that need to learn how to lean in and maybe don't have all the resources available. It's what I love about the AIMF with our 7 different layers. It's really for everybody. And so I'm looking forward to them, Deloitte and some others, to refine their frameworks. But I'm just glad that we're starting to think that way, right? We're starting to think um, in a framework and a roadmap because you can't just plug in right away. I think that's what we've been chatting about is there's just so many variables and you need to make sure we're evaluating, right? We're offering some type of governance or building a governance framework, right? An AI task force all the way through to your last portion, which is integrate. So exciting though, exciting to see them come out with something finally, to
Yeah,
be quite honest.
I think it's a great step. I think, being aligned, we're all thinking the same way and we're all seeing the same types of problems. And it doesn't matter if you're a small or medium sized business to a large, you know, top 10 largest companies. We all are going through this process of adopting AI, and we need to
Right.
govern it correctly. And we really need to lean into that. And so defining your governance strategy before you start implementing AI is a critical step as we're going forward. And I think both frameworks show that. and really looking forward to seeing how people think about it, what their concerns are, what their recommendations are.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that too. All right, let's switch gears. This one I'm really excited about, and I know you spent a lot of time within agentic workflows and agents. And so PwC just came out with a white paper report on APA, right? And I love that acronym, Agentic Powered Automation. And so I'm excited to talk to you about the highlights. What are some of the things that you've noticed in the white paper?
Yeah, so it was a very thorough white paper. Went into a lot of things and defined it because this is still a
Mhm.
space that's really not well defined.
Right,
And one of the things I really appreciated, which I think a lot of people struggle, is like, what are the use cases that I should focus on with building out agents? I keep hearing them all across social media. On our platform also, we talk quite a bit about agents, but like, what are those use cases? And they broke it down for specific things of like sales and marketing. Here's 4 different use cases of when you could use an agent for your
I
IT
love it.
department, your service desk. When to use that? Even within HR, there was a lot of really interesting ways of utilizing it for HR, for building an agent to help you with your talent search, or being able to do all of the background verification agent, because that's a time takes a significant amount of time for organizations to do all that background information, compile it, and then provide a recommendation. So this may be able to cut down, because these agents are working 24/7, where you can actually get someone onboarded a lot faster than what you're typically used to. So I think it's a great way. I think there's still some immaturity with the agents. I've
Right.
built quite a few agents for White Glove and for the AI executive. And sometimes they don't always work as you expect them, as you're writing them. So you've got to understand what the process is and be able to do that manually in case it doesn't work.
I love that. A couple things that I heard there. Number one, there's now specific not templates per se, but scenarios that PwC has and examples of when you can use agents, how you can use agents specific to your departments. Right? We have some department leaders out there, those that are within specific areas of the business, and I really enjoyed reading about that. And then to your point, I've been having a lot of conversations about this. I think people are too quick to want to automate or to create agentic workflows without doing the manual work first. I'd always recommend doing that first. I would do the manual work to time it to see what type of output you get with human only intervention. And then start testing out these agentic workflows or agents. But you got to really understand what is it, what's the gain, right? What's the
Yeah.
gain? Is there a productivity gain? Is there a time efficiency gain? If not, then it's almost like, why are we wasting our time over automating, right? Or adding an agentic
Without a
flow
doubt.
that
And
does.
that's something that we
Yeah,
do in our Launchpad service, is we focus on something that is a process that's well defined. Find a pain point that's well defined. You've got to be able to understand that, to understand what you're going to get with a return on investment of
right,
changing that process to AI based. So we've got a 8-week process engagement called the Launchpad, where we'll sit down with you,
right.
understand your business strategy, understand those processes of where you want to improve, and then work on that and be able to build out an AI enabled service that will be able to do that. And we can then compare that and show you, here's the value of the process from before to what you get with AI. Do you want to continue to go that route? But I think that's what you have to do. You cannot start with automation if you have no process in place.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I love that about our launch pad. And I think as we see in 2025, we have organizations, enterprises, small to medium size, and just, even your independent contractor, independent owner, business owner, franchise owner, they're leaning in. And I love that about our launch pad. We actually educate. We don't just try to solve for and prescribe. That's the wrong approach. And I see a lot of people out there trying to do that. Prescribe with your tool without understanding well, wait a second, what's the framework, what's the digital roadmap, what's the actual pain point that we're trying to solve for, or are we just trying to AI, we're
Everything.
AI
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's so much out there, especially on LinkedIn, of like all these people like, here's my AI agent that I've built with N8N. Download it, and you can implement it and do it for yourself. And while some of those are great, I don't think that that's purpose built for your company. I
Right.
think you really need to spend the time, understand what your process is, why you want to automate it with AI, and then do it and build it securely, build it where it's sustainable, and not try to force fit something that doesn't work in your organization.
Great. I think we've been chatting a lot about governance over the last couple morning buzzes, even on a recent podcast, and we have more, by the way, that's going to release. I'm so excited. We have a great guest lineup, and then if those that were tuning in saw us on at the Kellogg event, we talked a lot about AI governance, and so really excited about that. But I do want to switch gears with the time that we have. And Jace, I know you've been spending a lot of time researching this, but Alexa Plus, right? We have so many. I mean, I'm telling you, it's every
Yeah,
day. There's always something
let's
new.
just add another player into the
Let's
mix.
add
So
another one.
now Amazon's ready to jump in, and they've been quite quiet. They've been
They
utilizing their
have.
Bedrock service, where in enabling other companies. But yeah, now their first step in of going with Amazon Plus, and I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I'm not sure I want my Amazon to be able to call me an Uber or do a DoorDash for me. Like, because it's another subscription based model, is that where I want to spend the most time? If I could bring my own license, and like I've already got a ChatGPT, I've got Claude licenses. If I could bring that in and it does it for me, I think that's a much better user experience.
A great
But
idea.
I mean, just the death by a thousand cuts of all these subscriptions, I'm not sure financially if it makes that most sense.
Yeah, I think Amazon didn't, and I'm wondering if they had this already rolled out and probably planned out before the DeepSeek situation and this conversation about dropping prices. I think it was a bad move. I'd imagine as they roll this out, they'll quickly realize that they're just going to offer it within their existing ecosystem for free or at the current price that you have your Alexa at. I don't think the upgrade of 2025 is worth the squeeze. It should be able to do that already. At least I think that's what the public is going to expect, or at least that's the sentiment that will be given.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think you're completely correct. We've many of us have had Alexa in our house and be able to do that. And truthfully, I have a 5-year-old and he has learned to talk to Alexa. And my wife gets very frustrated because Alexa listens more than him. So like he's a little spiteful, and hey, turn on the kitchen, and he'll say turn off the kitchen. So I can already see it being abused of hey, order me Chick-fil-A, and it and then it gets sent here. So there will have to be child controls and things that you need to put into it.
Well, what I like about it too, though, is we're starting to train ourselves, right? Alexa, there's Siri, right? We have a lot of digital players. In a sense, you can call them agents, right? If they're going
But
out and
there
grabbing,
definitely been assistance, and I think when we talked about the white paper that was written last week that we reviewed, that Anthropic said, 60% of the people are utilizing AI as an assistant. So this fits
right?
right in that wheelhouse of an assistant. But I agree with you. This feels like, as a consumer, something I would expect Alexa already does.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and there's some other players out there that just do it, right? It fits within the ecosystem. What I do like though is it's starting to train humans to collaborate with, to ask for things and work with the digital species that we keep talking about, right? These agents that can go out and do things. Our ways of shopping, our ways of calling others or getting tasks done are completely changing. And so this is just another way that's baked in within your home ecosystem to work with an assistant, work with an agent to get things done that you normally would do, right? You normally would call your Uber, get on your phone and get that going, or even DoorDash. Now you go through your assistant, through your agent, and they take care of everything. We just got to think about the
But are
security
you
measures.
like? I guess my question is, I'm always looking at where I can save time. Am I really saving time of asking Alexa instead of the 22 seconds it takes to order an Uber? Like Uber is very easy and they're very optimized. Are we focusing on the wrong problems? Let's focus on
Yeah.
things that are going to save you 30 minutes of your day, an hour of your day. saving 20 seconds is really not where I'm not down to the 20-second blocks of day yet.
Yeah. It's a good point, and I think we could unravel it a little bit more because I wonder if it's not just about saving time, right? It's about what are you currently doing that potentially is a better ROI of your time than the 20 to 40 seconds, right? And so I've been chatting with people a lot about that is, okay, so you integrate AI and okay, yeah, sure, there is a goal of cost reduction or savings, but then there's also the other end on productivity or what I would call in the business sense, revenue generating activity. So you're repositioning your focus, right? It's that opportunity cost in a sense. You're focusing over here. You're allowing the agent to do these things that maybe from a ROI of your time are just not as high versus this task. So it's not just to save the time; it's to reposition that time as something juicier,
Yeah, no, no, and I've really been in 2025 hyper focused on my time and how I'm managing
right?
that, and delegating the things that take up my time that I don't enjoy or is not providing a return on investment. I've got to be able to find that, and that's where I've really have been utilizing agents to kind of offload some of those things that I don't have the time or it doesn't get me excited, and being able to do that, I think that's what AI will help you with.
Right. I had another topic I wanted to chat about with you, and I know there's a lot of chatter around and so many features, but around these transcribers, right? So I think a lot of people out there they use Otter, Fireflies, Fathom, and I'm really interested to see where those transcribers going, or even if they are around for the next 6 to 12 months, because I'm starting to see Google Teams already has a feature that records and
Yeah.
transcribes, Zoom. And so those are some major players post COVID, right? That we're really used to. We started to introduce these transcribers, which are great and they're user friendly. I just don't know how much more runway they have when your Microsoft player, your Google player, they're taking over that market.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely correct. They are taking over the market, but I think it is a great solution. And when you're in back-to-back meetings, it's great to have that to reflect back on. But they are, are we getting the most out of them? And
Right.
I think that's something that I know I struggle with being in lots of meetings. It is good to reflect back on some of them and getting some action items, but I don't think it's an integrated, built into your life and your systems yet. So I think that's where it really needs to go. Yes, it's great to be able to summarize, give you some key points. Is it personalized? Is it giving you the right responses? I'm so on the fence with it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, I love using transcribers, and I'm always telling organizations you need to create a data repository. So please make sure you're always transcribing all your meetings, all your one on ones, so that you
Yep.
can go back and curate. And then from a forward looking action items, right? Summarizing action items, you can integrate it with Slack or some other areas that you have your communications comms on so that everyone has their specific
And I
tasks they
think
need to go do.
I think what you're hitting on is where my pain point is. It is doing a great job at capturing in each meeting, but it's not consolidating it for me. And that's
Mhm.
why I'm not head over heels with the transcriber, because I want all of my action items at the end of the day that I can compile. I don't want to go look at, each of the meetings I went to and replay each of those. I want a consolidated list. And I think that's where it's missing
Wow.
right now.
That's really interesting. Yeah, almost like an automated update of your task that you need to go do, and it just sends it all, consolidates it,
Yeah,
and
because I don't want to
updates it
click
for you.
into, oh, I had this meeting with this client or I had this meeting with this customer. I want to be able to go at the end of the day and look at all of my action items and then take action on those. I don't want to have to do those extra 2 or 3 steps.
That's a good pain point to solve. That's it. That's really interesting, and I'm hoping someone out there solves it. That's going to be good. So I know you've chatted about it. I wanted to hit it again now that I'm back in the seat. So you have Apple that just came out with an announcement of investing in AI infrastructure and data center and down here
In your
in Houston.
backyard.
I know in Houston, so I'm excited about it. But then I got really confused because and you've heard me and the audience has heard me say this. I'm all in on Microsoft. I think they're going to be the big winner. they pulled out. No more data center investment. And I'm like scratching my head. I'm like, what do they know that we don't? I don't understand.
I don't know if it's no more data center, no more investment. I believe it was aligning to, where they can get the most energy, where they can get the most efficiency. And I think Nick and I spoke about it, is maybe they oversubscribed. Maybe they thought,
Right.
they didn't realize that there was going to be so many additional players in the market, and they bought too much. So, I don't think that they're out of the game, and I don't think they're done. But I think they're making a decision of, okay, we need to realign. Maybe we find more strategic places to put it, because in that same article they did say they're still doing 80 billion of infrastructure investments for this year. So they're still committed. I just don't think that they made all of the right decisions when they pushed all in with OpenAI.
Right. Yeah, you have a good point. I'm wondering if that's what happened. Well, I'm still a big Microsoft better. I'm betting on them big, but it's great to see Apple showing up. You mentioned earlier Amazon showing up. I know Google's out there. A lot of people are chattering that Google is going to be the big winner, and maybe they're all winners. Who knows? But
Yeah.
I'm excited to see
Yeah, and
who
we
comes
also,
out.
I don't know if you have gotten into Claude yet with their new
Yeah, I
three
saw that.
seven model.
Yes.
That's another one that I think they're focused on a specific niche, and really providing quality capabilities for the engineer and the developers, the technologist side,
Right.
and making and level setting everyone to be able to have those same types of knowledge and skills.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I want to finish on this topic. You've been very involved with agentic workflows and agents, and this is more of a what do you think the rest of the year is going to look like, in what industry or maybe even departments? What industry or departments are going to be the most leverage when it comes to agentic workflows, and maybe even repositioning some people into more advisor roles, and a lot of their tasks are just automated, powered by AI agents will take care of it. Where are you seeing maybe some of the signals?
So I think a lot, part of it we talked about at our Kellogg event this weekend.
Right,
There's a lot in the marketing space. Giving that hyper personalized marketing capabilities instead of just flooding the market. I think that's where you're going to see a lot more hyper personalization in your marketing, in the advertising space. I think that's one that's really going to do. Call centers, being able to do that. We've got a capability. We've been working with a lot of organizations about implementing a voice AI call center capability, where now you're having a natural conversation with someone instead of interacting with their customer facing, forward looking. And most people have a very tumultuous time talking to them.
right.
Press one for this, press two for that, press
It's
seven
terrible.
for talking to an agent,
I
and
just
you're
always hit
screaming
zero.
at
I'm
it.
like, I can't deal with this. I'm putting zero, and hopefully that goes to
Right.
somebody.
So I think that's another one that's really going to start getting a lot of traction in 2025, is having a much better customer experience and being able to utilize AI to talk to your customers and give them the information they're looking for, instead of force feeding them into these IVR, IVF systems.
It's funny. I had an experience with a voice AI powered agent that was taking care of invitations for an event that I was being invited to. The agent calls me. It sounds like a real person. She was lovely, great voice, right? And she's walking me through the event and said, Albert, how would you like your invitation? And I was just curious. I wanted to test this. And I said, I would like my invitation from a Hogwarts owl. I'd like it delivered to my front door. And I'm telling you, not even a second later, I mean, milliseconds, she's laughing and says, Albert, you joke too much, but seriously, how would you like your invitation? And that just, this one thing about language and communication is the social cues, right? The cueing, the
Yeah.
understanding, and understanding what when someone's joking or when someone's upset, or the emotional piece, right? And the fact that that agent has been trained to show, I mean, the inflection in her voice, the understanding that I was joking, right? I didn't tell her I was going to tell her a joke. I just made one. And for her, and I say her, the digital species, um, for it to identify that I was doing that was amazing. Just to tell you where things are right
Yeah.
now.
No, and that's absolutely correct. And we've seen with some of our customers that we've implemented this because they're putting it on where the customers are the angriest, and being able to calm down and have that
Right.
emotional intelligence and understand their voice inflections to be able to um, be compassionate to their problem and then help them get to a result. And I think that's really impressive of where these voice agents are going.
Yeah, voice and SMS, right? And I think, and I'm curious, I don't know if it's 2025, if everyone's fully ready for it, as they're still trying to commit and adopt on the front end of just leaning into AI. But I really see a lot of websites just including avatars, right? And it could be anyone in the organization. It could be, someone that we make up, but the ability to communicate with you, and you can then visually see them. I think, and I know we're running out of time, but I was chatting with a startup recently who is creating an entire recruiting team made of agents. There's no humans right now. There's supervision of it, but their time to fill for other clients, as far as candidate filling, right, and picking the right candidates, is significantly less because they're able to get through some of that administrative much faster, and then it's a actual agent interviewing the candidate. The one recommendation I had though was, I think psychologically, in order for us to trust that experience as the candidate, you have to see someone. And so I'm just curious, is that 2025 in your opinion, 2026 on the prevalence of the actual visual avatar?
I think you'll see some value in 2025, but I don't think there's still a lot that goes into building that avatar, and it's very compute intensive to get the
Hmm.
facial expressions,
Right.
the eyes. So right now, I have not seen anyone that has really solved that doesn't require a significant amount of compute on the back end. So I think that's what's holding it back from large scale adoption is the concurrency issues because of how compute intensive it is to make it look as human as possible.
Yeah, I think you have a really good point there. We saw a little bit of it during the Super Bowl commercials. However, it wasn't a live interaction. I saw something recently, maybe a couple months ago, from Reid Hoffman, who created his digital twin. Right, I think the digital twin is going to come out some more. But you're right, the ability to make sure the facial expression, I mean, all the things that we're always observing for, that we subconsciously,
Yeah.
consciously pay attention to. There's some work to be done there, but I'm excited. I'm excited. Although
No, and I
there,
think there's also there's it has to grow to be able to say we want to put a digital twin in here for Nick who's missing.
right,
Right now, all of the digital twins are focused on one-on-one conversation, so they feel like they always have to talk. If we try to do it right now, the Nick digital twin would just be talking over both of us over and over and over again, and we'd get tired of him and we'd have to kick him out of the group. So
not you, Nick, just your digital twin. That is too funny. And shoot, I didn't even mention, yeah, our founder and CEO is not here today. We miss him. He's actually, speaking of, he's going to an event here soon around the immersive experience, virtual reality and AR. And I'm excited to say, me, I really enjoy that space and just this
yeah,
conversation about reality. And so I'm looking forward to him coming on and letting us know how it went.
absolutely. Yeah, and I think as you brought up the Amazon or the Alexa, I think we got to do a session of just using AI at home and what we're doing
I
and
love
how we're
that.
using it. I think it'd be a great conversation to give people the other perspective of yes, AI is really going to transform how you do business, but I know for myself it has completely transformed how I do specific things throughout the day.
Well, let's give the audience something to look forward to. Let's get that done on Tuesday. We're here live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays at 7:30 Central. I think that's
Now, let's
something we
not
need to chat
fully
about.
commit to Tuesday because we have no idea who's going to be the next big
That's
model
true.
that gets released this
That's so
weekend.
true. That's so true. Good point. All right,
We
everybody.
may
Well,
have to do
that's
an
it.
after hours session
Oh, I like
and
that. I like that. Well, everybody, that's it for today's AI Executive Morning Buzz. Big thanks, as always, to Jason Hess, our virtual CIO of White Glove AI. Thanks, sir, for joining us and sharing your insights. And as we always challenge the audience, stay curious, stay innovative, and we'll see you, as I mentioned, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 7:30 a.m. Central. And I'm also excited to tell you we have a huge lineup. I mean, they're lining up at the door. We're selecting the best out there that are doing the best work in the AI space, our podcast. So make sure to find us not only on all our social media platforms, but Spotify. We're going to have more episodes coming out. We're actually increasing the frequency. There's a lot of people that want to chat about AI, and there's a lot of people that are doing something about it. And so we're going to make sure to challenge their ideas here on the show. Looking forward to doing that with Jason. Jason, thank you so much, sir. Everybody,
Thanks, Albert.
we'll see you
Have a
soon.
good
Have
weekend.
a great day. Have a great weekend.